It took just one shot to silence the Wizards' home crowd. The Knicks had barely warmed up. The scoreboard still showed single digits, and then Jordan Clarkson stepped in, calm, fearless, and completely locked in. In that moment, everything changed. His energy flipped the momentum like a switch. One jumper turned into a rhythm. That rhythm turned into a run. And before the Wizards knew it, they weren't just down, they were drowning. What followed in that first quarter wasn't luck. It was calculated destruction. A statement from a player the Wizards clearly weren't ready for. On paper, this wasn't supposed to be a battle. The Knicks walked in with momentum, 3 straight wins, playing with the confidence of a team that knows exactly who they are. Their offense was flowing, their defense locked in. They had the energy of a team that doesn't just want to win, they expect to. The Wizards? Different story. Their defense ranked near the bottom of the league. They were leaking points every game, struggling to contain even average guards. And tonight, they'd be facing a player who thrives when defenses give him space, Jordan Clarkson. There was a quiet buzz before tip-off. Everyone in the building felt it. A game that looked easy on the schedule was about to get complicated. Clarkson wasn't just in the lineup, he was ready to attack. Nobody knew it yet, but the opening minutes of this game would set the tone for everything that followed. It didn't take long for the tone of the game to shift. From the moment Clarkson touched the ball, it was clear he wasn't out there to ease in. He was out there to attack. First possession, step-back jumper, splash. The next trip down, he slashes into the lane like a blade through soft defense, drawing 2 defenders and floating it high off the glass. 2 more points. And then, the shot that lit up the entire arena, a corner 3, contested, with a foul. The crowd gasped before the ball even hit the net. In less than 8 minutes, Clarkson piled up 8 quick points and forced Washington to burn a timeout. Their defense had no answers. They sagged off, he punished them. They closed out, he drove past. Every possession felt like a one-man storm, and the energy was contagious. The Knicks bench jumped to their feet with every bucket. The Wizards looked confused, out of rhythm, already playing catch-up. It wasn't just scoring, Clarkson was dictating the entire tempo of the game. One man, one quarter, total control. You could feel it the moment the timeout ended. Washington was trying to flip the script. They tightened their defense, bringing help earlier, trapping Clarkson on the perimeter. The idea was simple, force the ball out of his hands. But Clarkson didn't flinch. Instead of slowing down, he shifted gears. Next possession, he attacked the closeout, collapsing the defense and kicking the ball out to an open shooter in the corner. Bang! Knicks up big. On the following trip, he drew 2 defenders again, this time slipping a pass under the rim for an easy bucket. Suddenly, it wasn't just Clarkson scoring, it was Clarkson controlling. The Wizards tried to push back with quick jumpers and transition plays, but every time they landed a shot, Clarkson and the Knicks answered right back. He was like gravity, pulling defenders in, bending the game around him. Washington wasn't playing bad basketball, they were just playing his basketball. And the more they chased, the more the gap grew. Just when everything seemed perfectly under control, it happened. Midway through the second quarter, Clarkson made a sharp cut toward the wing, calling for the ball. He spotted a teammate under the basket and fired a quick pass, but the pass didn't find the player. It found the referee. The crowd burst into laughter. The Wizards bench cracked a grin. Even the ref had that split second, did that really just happen, look. For a moment, everything paused. Clarkson smirked, shook his head, and jogged back on defense. It was a rare human moment in the middle of a dominant performance. But here's the difference between good players and impact players. Good players let small mistakes throw them off. Clarkson? He used it as fuel. The very next possession, he came down the court, faked left, and drove hard to the basket, drawing a foul and silencing the laughter in an instant. That's the thing about momentum. It doesn't break if you refuse to let it. One misstep, instantly erased. By the time the second half rolled around, the cracks in Washington's defense weren't just showing, they were wide open. Early on, they were hanging in, trading baskets, trying to find rhythm. But once Clarkson set the tone, the Wizards started chasing shadows. Their closeouts got slower, their rotations broke down, and that early energy they showed? Gone. The Knicks smelled blood. Every missed rotation was punished. Every lazy switch turned into a wide-open look. The Wizards were shooting a solid 68% early in the game, but that didn't matter anymore. Their problem wasn't scoring, it was stopping anything. Clarkson kept applying pressure. Even when he wasn't scoring, his presence forced the Wizards to tilt their defense his way, and that opened the floor for everyone else. One possession he drew 2 defenders and kicked it out for a 3. The next, he drove baseline, collapsing the defense, and the Knicks got an easy dunk. The scoreboard kept creeping up, 10, 15, 20, you could feel the life slowly leaving the Wizards' body language. hands on knees, frustration in their eyes. They weren't just behind, they were being picked apart. And Clarkson? He wasn't even smiling. He was locked in like a man who knew this game was already his. Coming out of halftime, the Wizards needed a miracle. What they got instead was more Clarkson. The Knicks didn't ease up. They pushed the tempo, and Clarkson set the tone again, driving straight into the heart of the defense like he'd been doing all night. Even when his shots didn't drop, he forced Washington to react. 2 defenders here, help rotation there, everything revolved around him. Midway through the third, you could see the Wizards' defense unravel in real time. They were a step late on every closeout, a beat slow on every rotation. Clarkson didn't even have to score to break them, his movement alone was enough. The Knicks bench joined the party, raining down jumpers and running the floor. The Wizards tried zone. They tried switching. Nothing worked. The scoreboard ballooned past 30. And the crowd started sensing what was coming. Clarkson missed a couple of shots down the stretch, but by then, it didn't matter. His early explosion had done the damage. The Wizards weren't just behind, they were defeated. This wasn't about a box score anymore. This was about control, and Clarkson had it in the palm of his hand. By the start of the fourth, this wasn't a contest anymore, it was a statement. The Wizards tried to throw one last punch, but there was nothing behind it. Their defense was flat, their energy gone, their body language defeated. And Clarkson? He didn't need to play hero anymore. He'd already written the story in the opening minutes. He slowed the pace, controlled possessions, and let the game breathe, the sign of a player who knows the job is done. Every time Washington tried to make a run, Clarkson steadied the Knicks' rhythm. One pull-up jumper here, a simple drive and kick there. No flash, just control. The Knicks' lead stretched past 30. The crowd roared with every shot, but the real damage had already been done back in the first quarter when Clarkson snatched the momentum and never gave it back. When the final buzzer echoed through the arena, the Wizards looked like a team that had been punched in the mouth and never recovered. Clarkson walked off with just 12 points on the box score, but anyone who watched the game knew the truth. He was the spark that burned Washington down. Jordan Clarkson didn't need a 40-point game. He didn't need a highlight reel full of ankle breakers or game winners. What he did was quieter, but way more dangerous. From the first few minutes, Clarkson took control of the game. His energy lit a fire under the Knicks offense, his shot-making forced the Wizards on their heels, and his pace turned a regular matchup into a one-sided storm. The box score said 12 points, but the story of the game? It said Clarkson broke Washington early and never let them breathe. Games like this are a reminder. Momentum isn't about who scores the most, it's about who sets the tone. And tonight, that was all Jordan Clarkson. Basketball, so tell me this, if Clarkson keeps bringing this energy, do you see the Knicks as a real problem this season? Drop your thoughts below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dive game stories, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one.